Let's fix this. Alright, what's up guys? So sound is working fine. I just noticed that I didn't do any live videos since last week, last Friday. So I'm super happy to come back with a Q&A. We'll do it pretty soon. I just want to check a few things before. So I just want to make sure that everything is fine, and I'll post this on Facebook as well. So just give me a second. And as always, if you guys have any questions, type in the chat box. Let me know about your question for this Q&A, and we'll make sure to cover that. And the goal here is really to add value and to make sure that you guys have something to work on the next week, right? So you want to cover things that you're going to be able to work on. So that's the big takeaway here, the big thing we want to do. So let me just put this. I'll try to do the live video on the page now because there's more people on that page instead of the group. It might take a bit of time because I have to figure out how that works. But if you guys are watching, let me know that you're watching. If you have any question about the Q&A, let me know. We'll start pretty soon. And there's always, pretty much every week, there's one topic I want to cover. And then after that, we go to your questions, basically. So any question you have at any moment, I'm ready to answer them. And there's no, how to say, there's no, I don't retain myself. I don't stop or skip question. I just answer pretty much everything that comes up. And that's pretty much how it goes every single week. And don't forget that this is going to be turned into a podcast after that. So if you guys cannot watch the whole thing today, well, just tune in the podcast next week, and you'll be able to watch all that stuff. Well, you'll be able to hear that stuff. So that's going to be sometimes easier too, because people like to hear sometimes. So give me a second, because I posting this on Facebook. It's tough to do two things at once, and I'm having some trouble here. But we'll try to do this. Alright, so we are live on Facebook as well. Thanks you guys for joining me today. Let me just share this on the Facebook group now. It's the last part. But yeah, just make sure that everything's shared everywhere. And we'll be able to start in a second. As always, if you guys are watching this on Facebook, comment below with your question. Let me know that. Let me know if you have any question. I will make sure to cover those today. I have a topic I want to talk about, which is interesting, and then we'll jump to your questions, basically. So I see there's one people watching now. Wonderful on Facebook. Thank you so much. And if you want to introduce yourself below, feel free to do so, and we'll do that in a second. So share in the group. There you go. Alright, let me just move this a little bit. Alright, that has been shared everywhere. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I see there's a couple of people here, a couple of people everywhere. So the Q&A, as I'm just going to repeat again, but the Q&A is also every single Friday. So every Friday at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time, we do this on Facebook. And I thought we covered some topics to make sure that you guys have something to work on in the next week. So I think it's really good to share information. It's good to have something that people can learn from. But we need to have something that is propelling you forward, like a call to action, so that you guys can work on it in the next week or the next days if you want. And that's the basic goal of it. I'm not here to talk and just talk about any nonsense. I really want to make sure that you guys have something to apply and that you go apply it for the next week. So there's one topic I want to talk about today. And you guys are going to see the topics are varying a lot. Okay, we've covered lifestyle, we've covered like a lot of things, strategies, price action, pretty much anything possible. So the topic I want to cover today is the topic of discipline. And you guys probably heard, and I've talked with like so many people about this. I ask people what is their biggest challenge or biggest thing they're working on. And oftentimes, I would say like 95% of the time, the word discipline comes up. I need to be more disciplined. I need to work on my discipline. I need to find a way to be disciplined, to take all the right trades. I hear this like all the time, every single day. And to one extent, this is fine. But there's something that people have to understand with discipline. And a big part of discipline has to do with kind of your mind. Okay, so it's not something that you need to work on necessarily, but I want to talk about a couple of parts. First of all, there's one thing you need to understand. The way you treat your body and the way your brain works is going to impact a lot of discipline. I guess that's going to be a major factor. So if you don't eat healthy or if you don't sleep enough, then your discipline is going to be impacted a lot. Okay, that's the first part. That's really a big part. And we won't cover that too much because I'm not a health expert. I'm not here to talk about health, but you just need to know the basics, right? And the basics are simple: sleep enough, eat healthy, and don't try to trade when you haven't ate or when you haven't slept enough. Okay, that doesn't work because there's something called decision fatigue, for one, and there's one other thing: the fact that the sugar in your brain is helping you be disciplined. If you don't have enough sugar in your brain, or if you don't have enough sugar in your system, you're much less likely to be disciplined. That's one thing. Then there's decision fatigue. So if you make too many decisions in a row, you become fatigued, and it's much harder to make the next decision. So think about when you wake up. You take one decision, like it's fine, you make it. But then after 100 or 200 decisions, it's much harder to sustain. It's much harder to make the right decision all the time. So that's a big factor. But that's not the main point I want to talk about today. Okay, this is just a physical aspect. But then there's another aspect, which has to do with your trading strategy. If you're not disciplined when you trade, the question I would ask myself is, do you have a strategy that you like? Do you have a strategy that you've created yourself? If not, well, maybe your strategy doesn't fit you. Because if you're in a trade, or if you're before entering a trade, and you have to force yourself to enter the trade, like you don't feel it, or you feel bad, you feel uncomfortable, you feel like you just want to stop trading. If you feel like that before a trade, chances are that your strategy is not super good for you. It's not a good fit, and that has to do with your personality, how you want to trade. Sometimes people try to force themselves to trade one thing while they're not comfortable with it. Like it's not their style. And that's gonna make a big impact on you. That's gonna make it really tough for you to trade. So the more you align your personality with your strategy, the easier it is. The easier that gets. Because then you're in alignment. And the other thing I found is that whenever you trade a strategy you find online, like go on any forum, any website, pick a strategy, trade it without backtesting. Okay, just trade it that way. Oftentimes, you're not gonna feel like it's your own. You're gonna feel like you're taking someone else's stuff and you didn't do the work. And when you don't do the work, you feel like you're not ready to trade. So then try to be disciplined with that. Right? It's much harder. It's much more difficult to be disciplined when you're not acting on something you've tested first, but something that you've created yourself. So that's why it's really important for you to have a strategy. Yeah, that's really good. But then have a strategy that you tested, that's even better. And then have a strategy that you modified and that you fit to your style, your rules, what you like to trade. Okay, that makes it much easier for you to be disciplined. And if you're not in alignment, if you trade like whatever you find online or what, like just any random strategy, well, your mind's gonna tell you that it's not right, and you might make more mistake. You might kind of screw up over time, because that's why it's really not the best idea to trade whatever strategy you find anywhere on any website. I'll just go check the question right quickly here on Facebook. If there's any question, let me see. And then I want to cover really a big topic, which is how to apply this, because it's good to talk about strategies and taking something that you like or that fits your style, but how do you really make this work? So give me a second, I'll check just reopen this here. I'll check the comment really quickly. And if there's no question, then I'll just move forward on this. And if you guys on YouTube have questions as well, let me know. And we'll, as always, cover everything you guys have with questions. And I'll repeat again, this is posted on the podcast the next week. So next Thursday you'll have the Q&A on the podcast. So you can kind of listen and really take it as some inspiration, maybe, or some motivation to trade. That might help. So no question here. Let me see the group. Wonderful. I just saw, guys, that we have 1,164 people in the group. If you guys want to join the group right now, go ahead. It's really, really worth it. This is autotech.com/group. That's a short link, and you can join the group for free. So I really look forward to have probably 1,200 people pretty soon. That's going to be really, really good. All right. So guys, here's a question. We've talked about the fact that discipline comes from having a strategy that fits your style. Okay, you need to be rested, you need to eat well, you need to not have low sugar in your brain. Right? That's all good. But then how do you apply this? Right? How do you be disciplined? How do you pick a strategy that's really gonna fit to your trading style or to your personality? And there's two parts. First part is you have to try a lot of things. Okay, that's like the way most people are gonna take. They're gonna try to day trade. They're gonna try to swing trade. They're gonna try multi-time frame. They're gonna try to trade reversals, pullbacks, breakouts. But it's not. And then they're gonna realize that okay, so I like this I don't like. This is really bad. I'm not good at this. I'm kind of better at this. I'll just stick to that thing. That's one thing. Okay, that's the one way. But people in that way are gonna take a long time to go through different things, and it's gonna frustrate them. Right? They're not gonna be happy because they try many things, they fail at many things, but like of course they find their way. But it's like the hardest way to go about it. The easier way to go at it is to first look at your constraint. So what are the constraints you have right now? So because we just want to make sure you guys have the right way to trade based on what you have available at this point. If you try to do something you're not available to do now, well, guess what? It's going to be really, really more frustrating. Even more than trading something that's not based on your style. So first thing, figure out your constraint. Can you trade in the morning? Can you trade at night? What time of the day can you trade at? What time frame do you have available? Do you have only 1 hour in the morning and like 30 minutes at night? That's pretty short. Or do you have like the whole morning to trade and you don't have time in the evening maybe? Or maybe you have some time during the day to just check the chart. So figure out your constraint. What is possible to do with this? And you're probably going to tend to day trading or swing trading in that case. Or even position trading, which is like higher time frame. But that's the first step. Figure out what are your constraints. Second step then is to think about, okay, so given the things I have, what possibilities do I have? Can I day trade? Can I swing trade? Can I trade multi-time frame? Which I don't think is really possible in the beginning. But what could you do with this? And then you go into, well, okay, do I like to day trade? And this is, you ask yourself the question, what kind of person am I? Am I the type of person who wants to hack quickly, to be in the game, to feel some stress maybe, or to take decision quickly, be in the game, see the result quickly? Or do I like to be the person who's like more relaxed and sit down and calm and looking at the chart, taking some time to analyze and making sense of everything before place a trade? Okay, figure out which one you are. And you're probably going to be one or the other. You cannot be both. Okay, that's for sure. But I'm more the person who's going to be more like calm, relaxed, analyzing and stuff. But you could be the other one. That's totally fine. And even though you might be the person who's calm and like to analyze and not wanting to be in the action all the time, you could be day trading as well. Okay, there's strategies you can trade right now that I trade, by the way, that you're not necessarily full in the action, but you are sort of in the action, right? So trading, for example, the Asian session, that you have to fit with your possibilities, with your constraint. So if you cannot trade in the morning, well, you could trade at night. Try to find something that's going to fit your style. Try to take something that's going to fit your constraint and what you like to do. You like to be a fast person, or you like to be someone who's more calm and relaxed. And that's how you create a system. And that's how you create the perfect time to trade, first of all. And then with this, you look at what do you like to trade. You've probably read on different sites things about being either a reversal trader or like a trend trader. Both ways are fine. But if you usually like to be against most people, like you like to do things differently, you like to try different things, you like to be like on the sideline doing different stuff, most of the time those people are going to be contrarian traders. They're going to trade reversals. If you like to be with people, if you like to be like in the action and follow people and go with the majority, Most of the time, you're gonna be more like a trend trader. So you're gonna like buy on pullbacks or trade breakouts. That's more gonna be your style usually, and that's not a clear rule. Okay, things can be a little different, but most of the time, this is what I found, and this is what a lot of coaches found as well. That people who go against the majority are more contrarian traders. They're gonna trade reversals, and people who go with the majority, with people, they want to follow the lead. They want to be like propelled by people. Those people are going to be more trend traders usually. That's pretty much a quick overview of this. There's much more to cover, of course, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of this. And your goal this week is going to be to find a strategy. If you guys didn't have any strategy right now, if you trade with zero plan or with nothing in place, then it's your job right now. Your main like your number one goal right now to have a strategy, to have something on paper, and to do something with it. Okay, you should not be doing anything. You should not even be taking a trade if you don't have a plan on paper. If you don't have your one-page trading plan. So I recommend you download it on my website. It's totally free. But if you guys don't have this yet, make sure you have it first, because that's the first step. And of course, you need to research a little bit. And you need to do a lot of different things. But we talk about that on the blog a couple of times. You guys have the podcast. You have different ways of knowing what to think about, how traders are thinking, right? Because the first step is always to get their mindset. How are traders thinking? What is their way of seeing things? That's the first step. And then from there, you go to searching strategies. How technical analysis work. Do I want to trade the news, or do I want to trade based only on technical stuff? Okay, so that's the second step. And we've talked about that today. So you guys let me know if you have any question. I'll make sure to cover those. Let me go in the Facebook group and see if you guys have any question. Let's just go here. There we go. Let's just put this a little bit here. So I see we have one person here with a question. I didn't see much. So I see Shaquille, you asked maybe a question or something, but I didn't see the whole question. So you guys know if you have any question, I'll go through the Facebook group. I'll just go really quickly on YouTube, see if you guys have any question. Yeah, that's a nice point. Really nice point. This is a question on YouTube. So the person's saying he has no time to trade while he's doing his daily job. Okay, totally fine. Right now what he's doing is he's having his scalping strategies that takes 2-3 hours in the evening. Okay, what's my opinion on this? Well, still totally good. And for people who want to day trade that cannot day trade like the New York session or during the day, the number one thing I tell them is, well, look at different sessions. Right? There's like 3 main sessions in the Forex market every single day. New York session, London session, and the Asian session. Okay, or Tokyo session, whatever. But if you cannot trade one or two of them, trade the other one. And for people in the United States, I shouldn't say this, but for people in the Eastern time, the Asian session is gonna happen at night, so like around 6, 7, 8 p.m. This is where the Asian session starts. This is a perfect time to trade, and it's one of my favorite sessions because of the fact that volatility is a little bit lower, so the moves are usually bigger. Okay, so you're gonna see small bumps in price, and that's really helpful when you want to trade like breakouts or something similar. So totally fine if you want to trade that. It's really a good way to start, and that's the easiest way to day trade when you have a day job. People often think that they cannot day trade with a day job, but they can day trade for sure in the Forex market. This is something you cannot do in stocks. You cannot do it in futures because it's only open sometimes during the day. But if you're gonna trade Forex, well, you have like all the time. You could trade anytime you want. That's why it's powerful, and that's why you should benefit from it. You should try to find a way to trade at different times if you want to day trade. And of course, for people who still have a job and want to swing trade, go with the 4-hour chart. Go with the daily chart. Those are really easy to look at, right? Taking a break, like a 5-minute break every 4 hour, super easy. Taking a 5-minute break or a 20-minute break every day at 5 p.m. Eastern time, or whatever time you want to check the daily chart, That's super easy to do, right? Even with a job, you could do it. So that's what I recommend people for sure. And guys, let me know if you have any question. I'll look quickly one last time at the video on Facebook. But if not, we'll conclude here. I want to wish you guys a very happy Christmas. Today's the 23rd, 24th tomorrow, 25th on Sunday. So Merry Christmas to all you guys. I'll see you next week for the next Q&A. We do this every Friday, as I said, 12:45 Eastern Time. We'll have one on Friday, which is going to be the last one of the year. And I'm super happy. I'll have something nice for you guys next week. And I'll see you guys there. So enjoy the day. Enjoy the weekend. And oh, I just saw a cool question here. Okay, sorry guys. Nice. So for Fatima asking, what indicators do I recommend? I've covered that so many times, and I'll just repeat it once again. But indicators are good only to add some confirmation, only to add confluence to your strategy. Indicators are not something to start with, and you need to know. That's the first step. First step. You need to know what indicators work when. Some indicators work great in sideways market. Some of them are poor in sideways market. Some of them are great in trends. Some of them are bad in trends. So figure out what phase the market is in right now. Then figure out what indicators work for that phase. Okay, the RSI is going to be good for sideways market. The moving averages are going to be good for trends. The Bollinger Band is going to be good a little bit for both, but you have to use it differently. So my favorite is the Bollinger Band. I use the RSI sometimes, but I don't go with like fancy indicators and things that people search for online. Okay, just stick with the basics. RSI is good, stochastic similar, Bollinger Band, I love it. And you could go with moving averages as well. That works fine, but you need to know when to use it and also how to use it. So that's the second step. And we might do a podcast on this, but if not, I had a couple of podcasts about trading strategies recently. You can check them out. I'll put the link above the video after, so or below somewhere, so you guys can see it. And yeah, that's my take on indicators. And alright, no worries. So thanks you guys for joining me today. Happy holidays again. Happy holidays, Jason. And I'll see you guys next week for the last Q&A of the year. That's going to be an amazing one. And oh, by the way, guys, we do have 2 more holiday edition podcasts. One's going to be on Monday, the other one next Monday. And those are going to be great. It's past guests that I'm bringing back, so you guys can kind of see what progress they made, what things they're working on. And this Monday is going to be a great one. The next Monday is going to be my second favorite trader, so you guys are going to see it. So thanks guys for joining me today, and I'll see you pretty soon. Ciao.